Welcome back to Hot Water Wrestling here on YouTube. This is a civilized response to Gemni686's Ultimate Warrior question. Should the Warrior be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame? I stress again, this is a civilized response. I'm not going to agree with everything Gemini says, but I would hope that he would allow this to exist on his page as a response, and that it's not meant to be, a troll type thing. I'm not trying to be a troll here. I'm like having a discussion as if we were sitting across the table from each other. So I hope that it comes off like that. And anyways, I know I don't have a lot of time, so I want to get into this. And I'm going to start off by saying, yes, the Ultimate Warrior does deserve to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. I know he was not the best technical wrestler. He pissed off a lot of people in the company. But yes, he was a big draw. He was a major title holder. And considering some of the guys that are in the Hall of Fame now, yes, ultimately, the Ultimate Warrior does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm sure Gemini is expecting this, but of course I had a little problem with him saying that Tito Santana didn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. He has great points, excuse me, with guys like Refrigerator William Perry and Pete Rose. Now the Pete Rose thing, I kind of got a grin out of that. I kind of got a laugh out of that. And I really think more so WWE was doing that for comic relief, because we all know that Pete Rose is banned from the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, and Vince probably thinks he should be in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, so he put him in his Hall of Fame. And I think we all probably know that. But, there's a valid point saying, like, you put a guy like that in the Hall of Fame, and what does that say to other wrestlers that broke their backs in their career and they're not in the Hall of Fame? Coco Beware, I agree also, really should not be in the Hall of Fame. Never really held any major titles. Didn't do a whole lot. Didn't really break a lot of ground. He had a parrot, but I mean, is Kofi Kingston a result of Coco Beware? I don't know. He brought up Jimmy Hart. Of course Jimmy Hart should be in the Hall of Fame. Of course he should. The guy was an original. He was one of the greatest managers, one of the greatest guys on the mics. Yeah, I mean, Jimmy Hart was a major personality. Him and Gorilla Monsoon and Jesse Ventura, yeah, Mean Gene Okerlund, Bobby the Brain Heenan. Yes, they all deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Does the Master of Style Slick deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? No. Does Mr. Fuji? Absolutely, Mr. Fuji deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And I really honestly think that Jimmy Hart deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He managed numerous champions, be it tag team, intercontinental, or WWE. All across the board, the guy managed champions. Anyone who was with Jimmy Hart was a success. Tito Santana, let's go back to him. Yes, he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Why? Well, first of all, he held two major titles, Intercontinental and Tag Team Championship. But he was one of the real first Latino bust-outs in the WWE. Basically, Tito Santana and Pedro Morales paved the way for the Latino stars we see today. And back in his time, Tito Santana was a big star. He was a little pre-Hogan era, although he was right there in the Hogan era, but he was a little pre-Hogan era. And yeah, Tito Santana absolutely had some amazing matches. The magnificent Don Morocco deserves to be in there. You bet your buddy does. Jimmy Superfly Snuka. Santana's with that group. He's in that echelon. Greg Valentine. Absolutely. These people deserve to be in there. Because before the Hogan era, these guys were great wrestlers. And they were great wrestlers during the Hogan era. But you have to take that into account. And yes, absolutely, they deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Nikolai Volkov, okay. Did hold the Tag Team Championship with Iron Sheik, obviously. And yeah, I think you have a point there, Nikolai Volkov. I'll leave that kind of like, Big John Studd. Yeah, I personally think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Okay, I do. But, like Hillbilly Jim, I've never been a big Hillbilly Jim fan. Never was a big George the Animal Steel fan either. And I don't know about those guys either. And I think Stubbs, like kind of like with that crew, on the fence, kind of never really held a major title. You know, kind of fizzled out during the Hogan era. Didn't make it all the way through. So where Tito made it all the way through. Tito made it from the late 70s all the way into the mid 90s. You know. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat absolutely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, that's like without question. I mean, just for his brilliant match versus the Macho Man at WrestleMania 3, both those guys, because of that match, just Hall of Fame. But I'll tell you why Steamboat deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. You know, the Hall of Fame, as it stands, is kind of a merger between NWA, WCW, AWA, WWE, because Vince bought all the territories, you know. So it's a merger. Like Ric Flair, if it wasn't a merger, he doesn't deserve to be in the WWE Hall of Fame because he didn't really make that huge of a mark. I know he won the title and all that, but you know, we all know he cut his teeth in the NWA. So we have a merger going on. And yeah, because of that merger, absolutely Ricky the Dragon Steamboat deserves to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. He held the world title a few times, I believe. At least I know he did once. Has some outstanding matches with Ric Flair. And Steamboat was always an outstanding performer and another innovator, another colorful figure that really pulled off the martial arts thing really well, took things to a new level with his character, and yeah, I do. High Chief Maivia, I really don't have a comment. I'm indifferent on that. I don't really know him from anything, so I guess, yeah, he probably did get in because of The Rock, but I really don't. You know, a guy that also is a little borderline, okay, that's in there is Paul Orndorff, Mr. Wonderful. God bless him. I love him, okay? But does he deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? He never held a major title, and he wasn't around a long time. And I think Orndorff and the Ultimate Warrior is a great comparison. If Orndorff's in, the Warrior has to be in. Because their careers, and maybe Orndorff's was a teeny bit longer, but he really wasn't a major force for a long period of time, and he never won a belt. So yeah, having Orndorff in and having the Ultimate Warrior not in, I don't know. I think if you put Orndorff in, the Warrior's got to go in. And the Warrior was an innovator. The Warrior, you know, I mean, he took the whole Hulk Hogan era, the whole Hulk Hogan, you know, superhero thing, but he also took it to the next level. And I guess I could say, he made it possible for everyone to dream. I know that sounds corny, but what I mean is he made it possible for everyone to say, hey, you know what? I can be one of these big characters. It's not just Hogan. This spot can be anybody's if you just put your mind to it. And I think the Warrior kind of stood for that, despite himself. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. You know, I agree, but I don't agree that you would exclude, especially Tito Santana. But I'm biased because, you know, he's one of my very favorite wrestlers and probably my favorite wrestler if I had to pick, which I did on the 20 questions. You can watch it. All right, guys. Well, that is my response. Like I said, it's all meant to be civilized conversation, so I hope that, you know, Gemini will allow me to exist on his video comments section of this particular vlog. Thanks for watching On Water Wrestling. I'll see you next time.